I'll play. If it's quick, sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we will keep it quick.
I'm literally just doing this. So that means it requires you to listen to the person who came before you, because we hope that the story makes sense. That is the intention. And so you can take it wherever you want, however weird or regular you'd like to, but now you have the full list. And so I'm going to just say the list out loud one time. I'm going to start us off. It's going to pass to T, then Lisa, Taylor, Kyla, Genesis, Cindy, Anaya, Layla, Nia. And if you are in the group and you're just joining us, you can go ahead and just add yourself at the end of the list. Is there anybody whose name I didn't read off who's in the room?
Me.
Oh, Yulia. Yulia. We're gonna put you right again, Yulia. I'm sorry.
I believe I will be loser, so you did right, probably. Okay.
You know what? There's no winner. There's no loser. It is what it is. And let's see if we can get through this. So I'm gonna start us off by saying once upon a time. T, you're on mute.
That's it. Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna start us off by once upon a time. Leave it open for me.
There was a horse.
Who lived in a meadow.
Whose name was Harry.
Who did the last one?
Taylor.
I did. I said, whose name was Harry.
Okay.
Are you
so
writing this down? Once upon a time, there was a horse.
Yes, I'm writing it down. So after Taylor, we got to keep our listening ears on is Kayla.
Kayla. Yes.
Then Genesis, Cindy, Anaya, Layla, Nia. Kayla, are you with us? We need to keep it in rapid succession. Don't worry about it too much. It can be outlandish, it can be goofy, but we have to keep it moving.
Once upon a time, there was a horse whose name was.
Once upon a time, there was a horse who lived in a meadow whose name was Harry.
And he had a brother.
And he had a, what did you say? And he had a
Brother.
What was that? And he had a what?
Brother.
a brother.
Okay.
Is that, and he had a brother? Is that what you're saying? It's hard to hear the last word. And he had a brother.
And his brother's name was Chocolate Head.
He didn't like his brother.
Anaya.
They had a pet dog.
His name was Fred.
Nia, your turn.
I think Nia went before in the lineup, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go back to me. One day, Fred came up to Chocolate Head and said,
What happened to our dog?
I think he went for a swim in the river.
I didn't know he knew how to swim.
Kayla. But he did.
What happened to what happened to the chocolate head between chocolate head and Fred? Layla, or is it?
Kayla. Kayla.
They want something to go on.
Sorry. So the last lines are, what happened to our dog? Responding, I think he went for a swim in the river. Chocolate head responded, I didn't know he knew how to swim. Fred said,
But he did. Shouldn't he be wearing a bathing suit?
I wonder if he is.
What bathing suit would fit a dog?
That's fun.
is it back at me? Okay.
I didn't go. Can I can I add?
Add, Cindy, please do.
What was the last sentence?
Shouldn't he be wearing a bathing suit? I think he is. What kind of a bathing suit would fit a dog?
Maybe he just had one top.
Or maybe he's a super dog.
How about Miriam? Miriam, jump in. We're telling the story.
We're telling the
A
story.
super dog who could fly.
Oh. Such a horse, such a dog.
Maybe he just had one top, or maybe he's a super dog who could fly. So this goes now to T. This is the last round, so you guys got to finish it. We had a chance to make a beginning, middle, and an end. Every good story has one.
What was the last line?
Or maybe he's a super dog who can fly.
I think his friend, who is also a dog, can also fly.
Do you think it's possible that we can all fly?
Definitely, we all can fly, said the horse. Harry.
You just have to squeeze our shoulders really, really hard till the wings come out.
That's a cool idea. I'd better to check it out.
Maybe we all have different things, different superpowers.
It would be Kayla's turn. Just so that you.
Kayla, hit us with the next. You got this, girl. Everybody give her some snaps on the screen. Show her that we believe you got the next lines.
Read it out loud. The previous lines. We all can fly if we will squeeze our shoulders tough.
Or maybe he's a super dog who can fly. I think his friend, who is also a dog, can fly. Do you think it's possible that we can all fly? Definitely, we all can fly, said the horse. You just have to squeeze his shoulders really, really hard till the wings come out. Maybe we all have different superpowers.
Finishing, dropping.
Kayla, that's you. Can you unmute yourself? with the next line?
What was the last one?
Maybe we all have different superpowers.
Maybe we do.
Maybe we. Did you say maybe we do or maybe we don't?
Maybe we do.
Okay, maybe we do.
So then the dog began to sing, I believe I can fly.
And his brother sang along.
They started singing until everyone in the air heard them.
Happily ever after, all the people of
But you muted yourself, Genesis, mid-sentence.
and at the end, everyone in the universe started to fly. Ta-ta.
Or practicing their superpower every day.
It cut me off Zoom text. It said no more in this tiny chat box, but it's probably rife with spelling errors. But does someone want to give it a read? And Genesis, maybe you can top the cake at the end, since you had those lines that didn't make it. Someone want to read it all the way through?
Can I try to read it?
Go for it, sis.
Okay. Oh my God, this is long.
It's
What do I? Okay.
Zoom text box. It's do your best.
I'll try to find it. So do I just, okay. Once upon a time, there was a horse who lived on a meadow whose name was Harry. And he had a brother. His brother's name was Chocolate Head. We didn't like his brothers, or he didn't like his brothers. They had a pet dog whose name was Fred. One day, Fred came up to Chocolate Head and said, "What happened to our dog? I think he went for a swim in the river. I didn't know he knew how to swim." I didn't know he knew how to swim in the river or to swim, but he did. Shouldn't he be wearing a bathing suit? I think he is. What kind of bathing suit would fit a dog? Maybe he just had one top, or maybe he's a super dog who could fly. I think his friend who is also a dog can also fly. Do you think it's possible that we can fly? Definitely we can fly, said the horse. You just have to squeeze his shoulders really, really hard till the wings come out. Maybe we all have different superpowers. Maybe you do. So then the dog began to sing, I believe I can fly. And his brother sang along. They started singing until everyone in the air heard him. And then do I finish it with like what I said?
Yeah.
And the entire universe started to fly with them happily ever after.
Ba-bing! Yay! You guys did great.
Oh,
And
bravo. This is teamwork.
I want to emphasize two things. Number one, thank you all for your incredible participation. And for being brave and reading out that last bit, Genesis, I have this cool little fearless pendant that I'm going to leave at the library for you, for being so fearless and reading through that. So this is going to be at the Newburgh Free Library front desk for you. And the other thing that I want to mention is that storytelling is not unlike the variables and conditionals that we've been learning about in code language, right? Because each part of that story built up into another part of the story. And so much like how when we talked about variables, this happens if this one thing happens or something else happens, right? The if conditionals we've been talking about. And so they're not totally different in that way. One is using our regular vocabulary and the other is using a brand new language that we're all learning together. So congratulations to you all. You did a great job. And I'm going to pass off to our wonderful, well, actually, I'm going to pass off to Lisa, who's in the room. And then she can pass off to Taylor and Yulia and Cindy.
Thank you.
Yep. So I just wanted to pop in and say how everything was going, say hello, and let you all know that if there is anything you need from the library, please do reach out. I hope you all had a chance to get library cards if you didn't have one already, because I think there'll be some opportunities to use those cards for some of our database and VidCode programming in the future. And we are hoping to open the library for people to come in on a more regular basis. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll get some information out about that. But if you are starting to want to come into the library to pick books or find materials or get information for yourself, we're certainly hoping that you'll be able to do that within the next couple of weeks. So anything that you need help with, let us know.
Woohoo!
Thanks,
It's
Lisa.
Lisa,
And
do
I
you
just
want
want to say, sorry, to add to Lisa,
put
it in the chat.
telephone, put your phone, library's phone into the chat, okay?
Another benefit of having a library card, y'all, is that the library offers all of these other really cool things that you can check out that they don't often enough get to talk about, but they have these really cool hiking backpacks that you can check out if you want to explore nature, accompanied by some safety gear. They have these museum passes that you can check out to go to the Museum of Hudson Highlands, Storm King Arts Center, Dia Beacon, and different places like that where normally they charge an entrance fee, but they don't with that pass. And it's something that you check out and then you just bring back, and a bunch of other really cool stuff. They have a video platform. They have VidCode, which is another coding platform. There's books, there's audio books. There's so much that you can gain from having a library card. So if you don't yet have one, Lisa has put her information in the chat box, and it's also included in a link on her name in every single email that ever goes out to you. So make sure you're checking your emails and you can find it there always too.
Thank you, Anusha. Thank you, Lisa. Taylor, it's your time. Let's start boring, funny, coding. Coding time.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Question of the day today, we'll take a few minutes for, is what's one item you can't live without?
Wow.
See, I think a lot of us, if we're being honest with ourselves, it might be a phone, but that might be, I would probably put my computer actually, because you can do all the things you could do with the phone and more on a computer.
That's true.
Oh yeah, family's a good one, Genesis. I was thinking more objects, but if I were to go broader than that, I would certainly say family. Is anyone, you can also raise your hand or just unmute yourself if anyone wants to share aloud. We're gonna take a minute for this because I'm gonna skip the sisterhood activity today since
we've done some.
Yeah, since we've done some, so we'll save that one for next time. So we could take an extra few minutes to talk about.
But it's really
items.
important question, actually. I know why. I'm insider. Yes, we do need to think about object, not subject, not person, not people, but object. Maybe people are objects too. Are they?
I would say for this we'll worry about just items, so we don't have to, because I think people always come first. But
That's
yeah,
true.
for this, T has a really good one. She said, I'm sorry, they said allergy medicine. That I relate to, especially this season.
I understand.
Miriam, I can't live without summer. Oh, summer sounds so nice right now. Avocados, very nice, Nia.
I'm thinking about Sprite. When coding, you need the object to code, but how to code summer? I have no idea. Sprite is the object.
I thought you were talking about the soda at first.
Oh, no. Coding Sprite, no soda. No, sorry.
Genesis, you have your hand up.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you that in the summer I might go to Boston to visit my family.
Cool. I
Yeah.
always wanted to go there.
I
Do you
went
have any
there-
specific things you think you would do there?
I think I would go to the beach if I would be there. Cause like I've been there before, but like it was just because like my cousin was gonna get married, so we had to go like a long way from here with like our other family members. But this time we can like stay there more and like we can actually have time to be with them instead of just like being there for one thing. We can do way more things.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. I hope that you do get the chance to go and that goes really well for you. I hope I get to go too. All right. Any last thoughts before we move on?
I cannot live without my blanket.
Blanket, hoodies, sweaters. Let's see, Marian, Nia, Anaya, anybody want to add anything?
One item. Last chance.
Water. Food.
That is very literal. But no, that's so true. I once, over the summer, we asked this question and an overwhelming amount of the class said their water bottles, which was pretty cool.
Layla
my
said
gosh.
my cat. Layla said my cat, but he isn't an item. That's so true too.
Me too.
Okay, good
All
job.
right. Thank you, everyone. That was a fun one. Okay, so we'll move on for now to the meeting agenda. So today we're going to save today's sisterhood activity for next time, so we have more time to devote to it, and we're going to go straight into our mini lesson on navigation bars. After our lesson on how to create navigation bars, we're going to break up into our project groups and actually have the chance to collaborate on coding them into our project, which we all created accounts for last week. Hopefully you still have your user information written down somewhere. And I'll walk you through how to get a project set up and make sure that you're all set up to begin coding with navigation bars. And we're going to conclude, of course, with our weekly stand-up. And I've reserved some time at the end for questions and troubleshooting help. And we'll talk as well about things to prepare before next time. And our goals for today are to learn about how to create a navigation bar in HTML. And we're going to use these 4 tags to do that. We have the UL tag, which creates random lists, the A tag, which creates links, the LI tag, which creates list items, and the nav tag, which specifies that the block of code inside of it is a navigation bar. And, oops, excuse me, I always do that. And and then following the directions we discussed, as well as the video tutorial, we're going to create a navigation bar for our websites in our project groups. So of course, please don't forget to keep your microphone muted, which you already have done, to change your name if you haven't done so already to include your preferred name and pronouns, to use the raise hand feature throughout, or just to unmute yourself if that's in case I don't see the raise hand while I'm talking. I would encourage you all to keep your cameras on. I see we have a lot of cameras off, but if we could try to keep them on, if you have access to one, that always helps to build community. And finally, which we always do as well, just keeping our language respectful and talking each other up, because that is what we are here to do. So let me skip over this. So our HTML concept today, of course, is creating a navigation bar. Now, we talked about navigation bars last time. It's basically that, here, I'll go back to the website example I used actually, so we can all have a refresh.
Pay attention right now, starting from now. This is the real coding, and probably we will get some quizzes on those. Okay.
So I'm just going back to my magazine website because I like our navigation bar. This is a navigation bar. Each of these, when you click on them, brings you to a new page. And each page corresponds with its own HTML file, which is why when we were talking about setting up our outlines last week, I asked that each of you create a new page, like a new actual sheet or wireframe for each page of your website, because each of those pages will have their own respective HTML files. And are any of you familiar with the term hyperlink? I know I wasn't, honestly, until a few years ago, but the term hyperlink basically just refers to when the text appears on the outside in a certain way, but when you click on it, it actually contains a web address and it will bring you to a website or something like that. But usually the hyperlink will just be like a word written in plain English, just to make it easier for users. And so when we look at menus, each of these is a hyperlink to a different HTML file that contains all of the stuff you see on this page. And so the hyperlink here, it reads health and wellness, but really it's bringing you to a link. And so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today.
Why is hypertext? Because it's not just simple text. It's hyperlinked text, right? That's why all web is about links. And to create links, we need another pages to link to each other. Page, refer to page. Make sense?
Yeah, what Yulia just brought up is very important too, how the pages need to link to each other. So it's important that your navigation bar is on every page of your website, because you could click on, say you have a portfolio page and you click on portfolio, but there's no navigation bar to bring you back to your home page. That can be a bit of a flaw in the user experience. So we like to keep the navigation bar across all of the pages on a website. All you have to do is copy and paste it. It's very easy. So
think about it as a journey. Think about it as a clicking. You have the road and you travel through your website and suddenly you hit the dead end. If there is no menu, navigation bar, that's what we're talking about right now. Anyone wants to bring your example of navigation bar? Did you see navigation bars on websites? Raise your hand if you know or want to share something.
Like about like what we see on the navigation bar?
Yes. Any example with navigation bar? And we can just stop sharing and allow you to show what you found as a screen.
Like I do have something that like I know that would go onto a navigation bar, but I like would have to do something else to find it. Sometimes, for example, in school, they'll have like programs, like they will have a program tab, and if you have to go into your grades, it'll say grades at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I can show, since you can't share your screen, I can show kind of my version of that with my school account. So this is another style of navigation bar. This one's, of course, much bigger and it's vertical, but just like you were saying, there's tabs for grades and for other kinds of functions. So that's incredibly important for a school website.
Before you leave this website, there is also horizontal navigation bar here. Who can see where it is and read it out loud? So you see vertical and horizontal. Anyone?
Nia, you have your hand up?
Is it where it says like student and library?
Correct.
Yes.
And there is something else even above. If Taylor will scroll, this is something else, also kind of navigation bar, kind of. There are terms for all these places and spaces.
The one, like on the top where it's like apps
Mhm.
and then it's like those.
Mhm. And may I bring one more example to your attention? Oops. Do you see any navigation bar here? Just Google. It looks like there is no navigation bar here, but there is still actionable something. Let's put cat into this. Will we see navigation bar? Kind of, sort of, here. Yes, we can get navigations, right? Does it make sense for everyone? Navigation bar. Go here, do this. If you want to do this, navigation. Don't feel lost. We need navigation bars.
I get it.
Good.
Just like your navigation on your phone when you're trying to find an address, the navigation bar will direct you to wherever it is you need to go. Okay, great example. So I hope that kind of helps to illustrate what we're trying to create. So navigation bars, as we mentioned, allow users to navigate to different pages of the website. All of the different options on a navigation bar are really hyperlinks, which direct the user to an entirely different HTML file, which is why each of our websites, web pages, let me correct that now so I don't forget, why each of our web pages needs its own HTML file. And to create a navigation bar, we are going to use a few tags. So the first tag is the UL. Do we need a refresher on tags at all? I can go over tag structure again, or actually, would anybody be willing to type in the chat an example of what a paragraph tag might look like with some text inside? Because that might help us when we're
Who will be
talking
first?
about tags.
Yay, Nia,
Nice,
good job.
Nia.
Good job. I appreciate that. You're paying attention. It's really important for us. Thank you.
We have a tag queen.
Yay.
Very nice. Okay, yes. So that's what a tag looks like. And so these are different kinds of tags, but they all are essentially structured like that. So you could just swap out the letter P with UL or LI or any of these other terms, and it will accomplish whatever it is that that tag is meant to do. So the first tag we're going to go over is the UL tag. And what the UL tag does is it creates an unordered list, which is basically just a bulleted list. And when we're using it in the context of our navigation bars, it will look like a bulleted list that contains each of the web pages, which will be hyperlinked using the A tag. We'll get to that in a second. The LI tag is the list tag, and we use that around each list item. So this is important. When you're using the LI tag, rather than using it for all of your list items, it goes around each individual entity. And that's what keeps it separate, and that's what allows you to customize those individual hyperlinks, which will definitely help when you're moving into CSS styling later on. So definitely keep in mind the list tag goes around each A tag, essentially, each hyperlink. And we'll look at an example of this after. The A tag is what we were discussing before with hyperlink. Inside of the A tag, we're going to use an attribute called href to specify the link. Href, I will show you exactly how this looks. It's a key term that is used just to show that the link is whatever's to follow, and the link will go in quotation marks. It'll be href equals, and then the link inside of quotation marks, and then you have the text you want to appear, and you close the tag. It sounds like a lot, but it is very simple, and we'll look at that in a second. And finally, we have the nav tag. This doesn't really do anything specifically. It's more just to block off the section of your HTML that pertains to the navigation links. It's not necessary, but it does make your HTML easier to read. And of course, we want to go about this like real professional coders and learn things that real coders do. And so nav bars is just one of the professional sort of standards that will help to make your code easier to read for you when you're going back into coding, and for other people, especially because you have project members in this case. So we're about to look at an example, but before we do we have questions on any of these 4 tags?
Probably practicing those.
I think first, actually, let's look at the examples because it might be a little unclear without them. So we're going to go tag by tag. Our outermost tag is the navigation bar. This contains everything that's intended for the navigation bar, which is why it's the outermost. And then our next tag is the unordered list. Now you'll notice there's an indent, and we use indents whenever we're creating a new tag inside of a tag. And that's just to keep it organized so we don't forget to close the tag or something like that. It makes your code readable. And yes, that's very important because it's very easy to forget to close tags when you don't have proper indentation. So in order to indent, you just hit the tab button right above the caps button. So then we have UL. UL, we discussed before, creates an unordered list, which is just a bulleted list. That's all it is. And we close the UL tab before we close the navigation tab because it's like a mirror. They should reflect each other. And so you can look at the indents and say, okay, so I have nav, UL, LI. So then I'll close LI, UL, nav.
Think about nesting. Something sits inside something, right? Inside the nav sits UL. Inside UL sits LI. What sits inside LI? Who can tell me? Who can read it? Some bravery needed. Some brave
A.
souls. A. Right. Good job. Who was it? Nia, did you have something to say?
No, I was
Maybe
gonna say the same thing.
just A or A href, right? But anyway, it's A tag. Yes.
A tag. Great
Nesting.
job. Yes. Nesting is a very important term in computer science, and this is exactly what nesting refers to, is when you have different elements, or, well, elements is a different meaning in HTML.
Hierarchy, right?
Yeah, you have a hierarchy, and
Hierarchy.
yes, so there's an intended order and different, there's different functions taking place inside of other functions. And that's exactly what we have here. So the LI creates a list item. So it just specifies whatever's inside of here is one of the items in the unordered list. It's one of those bulleted items. And inside of here, as Genesis and Mia both pointed out, is the A tag. The A tag creates the hyperlink. And I want to spend a little bit of time looking at how the A tag is structured because it is a little bit different than the other tags. The A tag, when you open it, instead of just being the less than sign A, then the greater than sign, it's a less than sign A, href equals, and your link would be in quotation marks. Here, since it's a link to an HTML file, it ends in .html. And in this case, it's a link to our index page, also known as our home page. And so you'll have index.html inside of those quotation marks, and then you close the beginning A tag. So just to go over that one more time. You open the A tag, and inside of that opening A tag, you have href equals your link. And then you close the A tag. Now, in between the opening A tag and the closed A tag is where you write the word that you want to appear as your hyperlink. So when this is what I want that hyperlink to bring me to, but what I want the hyperlink to say in this case is home. And so that is what goes inside of the in between the two tags. And then you close the tag the same way we always do with the slash. And then, because this is all inside of a list item, we need to close the list item right after that, the same way we close all tags with the slash. Okay, so that was a lot. That was very important though. Can anybody try to kind of, if you have any questions, you can take the time to ask them here, but also if anyone wants to test and check their own understanding by trying to explain back to me what's going on in this line, and you want to be brave and take a stab at this, now is a great time to do so. You can raise your hand or just unmute yourself.
What this piece of code actually is doing? What does it represent? It starts with nav, so maybe
Navigation.
yeah, good job. Yes, exactly. We're building navigation. So how do we do that?
So what's going on here? What are we creating with UL?
Yes, Nia.
A list.
Unordered list. We need all items we want to point just listed here, right?
Exactly. So what does LI do here and here?
Starts to form the list.
That's pretty close, but we're going to be a little bit more specific. What about the list?
Start a link. Start a link. Starts a link. Li is not starting a link, but a tag does.
That's a very understandable mistake to make since they're both right next to each other. So I totally get that. And Genesis also is very close in saying that it starts a list, but it doesn't quite start a list. It actually starts a list item. So if I'm to make
abbreviation, UL unordered list, LI list item.
Yes, that's it. You can remember it as Yulia said, LI list item. That is what it stands for. And then, Miriam, do you want to explain what the A tag does? Because you were saying it before. Miriam, can you hear me? Can anyone
Any
explain?
volunteer?
It's okay.
Yes, volunteers, please.
So what is this A tag doing, which goes from here to here? Oh,
T said starts a link earlier, but she was referring to Lee, but Li, but it's referred to A tag. Miriam, you're typing. It's better to speak at this moment, but it's okay. So yes, A stands for a link. Anchor. I don't know why they said A, why they choose anchor. It's kind of not so mnemonic or so intuitive to think about link, but that's what it is. A stands for a link. And then you see something weird like href as a part of A tag, right?
is
Why
that
it's there?
hyperlink reference, do you
Yes.
think? Okay,
Yes,
I didn't know
exactly.
that.
So A tag stands for anchor, and it can go to the same page, but if it goes to another page, then it's hypertext reference. Okay. So together they link to another page. For example, here the word home would be the link. You see, because it sits between A tag opening and A tag closing. So then the word home will be highlighted and will be treated. The browser will read it as a hypertext link. Going to, I believe, to index.html, to another page, which calls index.html. But the word portfolio would be the link which goes to what page? Who can read it out loud? Between two A tags, you see the black, highlighted black word portfolio. But where it goes is highlighted by green. Who can tell me where it goes?
Thanks.
What?
Oh,
Portfolio goes to
oh, portfolio.html.
bingo. Yay.
Correct.
Yay.
Exactly. This is the link itself. And so, by the way, if you want to link to another website, you can do that as well. Like with HTTP, etc., you can link to a whole other website. But here we're using it to link to an HTML file. So very good, Genesis. And actually, we can play around with this a little bit in Glitch together, just so you can all get a better idea of what it is you're going to be doing. Let me just check on the time. It's 4:52. Okay.
Who was
So
able to create account with Glitch, by the way? I'm just wondering. It can be such a fun activity. Anyone, raise your hand or just say out loud. Nia, you did. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Nia. T, are you just trying to say you did? Cool. Do you think, Taylor, is it worth to jump on this page together?
we can finish. I have another
Slide to show and then
yeah.
do something at the end. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. That way we can have enough time to work in our groups. Okay,
cool.
so now it's time for a knowledge check on navigation bars. So,
No, show us the glitch first before you go there. Show us how it works in glitch because it's not clear yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so here I'll just make it, usually make it at the very top. Oh, I'll make it at the very top. Okay, so we start out with what tag?
LU or like UO.
Nav, navigation bar. Sorry. We're building navigational bar. We start
by
with
the-
nav and we end with nav.
By the way, you'll notice Glitch does something very cool. It kind of auto completes your tags. So that's just one nice thing to look out for. And then when you're indenting to the next line, it indents for you. And that's something cool that different text editors offer you. And then, as I believe Nia said, we're creating an unordered list.
Right.
And now within our unordered list, we're creating a list item. And within that list item, we are creating our A tag, which has href, and we set that equal to a link. We'll do index.html. Then we close out the starting A tag. And then as you see, it creates the closing A tag for you right there as soon as you're done creating your opening. And then you write the word that you want to be displayed. And to create another list item, you just do the same exact thing right underneath it. And I'll create this for, I have this page called otherpage.html. So I'll create a list item to navigate there. Okay, and now whenever you create something on Glitch, really cool thing you can do is at the top you see these glasses, it says show, and that's what allows you to preview your code. You can do this in a new window to see it bigger. I like to just do it next to the code so I can see it in real time. And this is our navigation bar. It's not too fancy looking, but we'll learn how to style it later on. And when you click on this page, it brings you to your home page, which is where we already are. And then when you click on other page, it brings you to your other page. But oh no, how are we going to get back? That's why we need to just take this whole block of code. And then when we go to our code for the other page, we are just going to paste that navigation bar in there directly. And now we're able to get back to the home page. So we have a fully functional website. Okay. Do we have any questions about any of the lines of code I just wrote? Do you want me to go back over anything?
We just connected two pages together. Look at these. What pages are those? Who knows? What two pages we just connected? Two. Some volunteers are needed. T, I know you can do it. The one very home page. And we talked about it last time. How do we call the home page?
Index.
Bravo, Nia. Okay. And what index page has to offer? Hey, look, here's another page called other page. So index.html is the home page. And what's the other page? Nia was doing such a good job. I need someone else. It's okay to be mistaken. It's okay to do. wrong answer. This way you learn. It's worse if you not answer, if you just sit and don't think. I want you to think. I need volunteer. We cannot keep going without volunteers. Aha. Layla is saying something. Paragraph. Hello.
So Layla, could you tell us where this is bringing us, what the link is called, that other page brings us to in the navigation?
Please, please, please.
So I'm looking for the specific name of the link, and the way you'll recognize it is because it ends in .html. So we're looking for the corresponding link that goes with other page.
You see where her cursor is, right? So other page is a text. How does browser know where to go? We have to tell browser, go to this HTML.
Yes,
HTML.
very good.
Thank you, Layla. Thank you so much. You saved us.
And so this is, once you kind of get it down, it's pretty easy to start replicating it. You can add 8 list items. You could add 80. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could add as many list items as you want. I suggest having 3 pages for your website. You could do more or less, but definitely at least 2, because we want you to get to test out your navigation bar skills. And like I mentioned, getting the navigation bar on each of the pages is just as simple as copying and pasting the whole block of text inside of the nav tag. So nothing too fancy there. Now,
she did something. She put an about page and it says, this is my about page for the title. It's okay for the title, but how did you name the web page? How do you explain browser what page to go after? What page you have to create? It might be, you just pick the name. It might be about, yay, .html. Yes, thank you. Good job. Perfect. I'm so glad you're getting it. Sorry, Taylor. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to take the navigation bar out for now, because what we are going to do is add our own navigation bars in, and this is going to be your starter code. What starter code is just the template that you're working from. This way you have all of the, what we call metadata, which is basically just whatever's setting up your font and linking your pages together. All of that stuff is done for you, and you can just go ahead and start creating the content on your website. Now, you'll have these 2 pages, index.html and otherpage.html. You can rename them. There's just 3 dots right here. You click on that and you can rename it to anything you want. About HTML, pictures.html, whatever is relevant for your website. And the way to remix codes on HTML, or excuse me, on Glitch, definitely pay attention right here. This is very important. So in order to use this starter code, you're going to, on my project, you click, it says NGCC website starter. The down arrow you click, and then you click remix project. And it basically creates a duplicate copy of that project, but this is all yours. So you're not affecting my code and I don't have access to your code. You're just making a copy of what I have to use for yourself. And it will create a project with a very silly name and that this is your own code, and you can rename this, of course, to group project or whatever you want to do. And only one member is actually going to do that in each group, because they're then going to share their project with their group members. So I'll just repeat that. One group member in each group will be remixing the starter code, and then they will be sharing it with their other group members. And you can, the easiest way to probably share it, you can either send an invite or you can search each other's usernames, whatever works for you. We all created accounts last time. I believe no one had any problems with that, or if they did, I wasn't made aware of them. So I'm currently under the impression you're all set up on Glitch. If not, that's okay. Just let me know. And yes, so whoever made the remix will add you or invite you to the project. And by the end of today, excuse me, we should all have access to this project on glitch.com. So let me send the starter code.
I'm creating breakout rooms. Do we want specific teams in rooms, or it can be random?
Yes, just give me 1 second because I want to just go over what the list of what we're doing. So I can send these instructions in the chat so you have them. Or, oh, excuse me, wrong page. So this is what we're going to be doing. One member creates the web page, they add everybody, and then you are going to start building your projects. So I will get the link ready to send, and yes, we'll be organizing this in groups. Let me open the Trello board. I forgot. So we can see what the groups are. So we have T, Miriam, and Leila, Genesis, Nia, Mia, and Janice, Alicia, Kaylee, Anaya, and Kayla. And that's it.
Oops. One more.
Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't mean to click that. I'll send it. Oh,
Alicia.
Can't really go. So the final group's Alicia, Kaylee, Anaya, and Kayla.
Okay, I got it.
Cool. And so I'm going to send a link to the starter code to all the groups in a second. And we can get started.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm sending the link to the starter code in the chat. So everyone click on that, and when we get in our groups, only one person from each group will be remixing the project.
How long do you want of those breakout rooms be open? 10
Let's have them like 15 minutes.
Okay. So we will see you at 5:23. Please join your room. Genesis, yes.
So I think, is this everybody?
Yes, everybody is here. So we will be sharing the video with you as a homework if you want to continue. And now you're in the teams, so you can keep working as a team, as a friends, with the friends.
Absolutely. So let's see, what time is it? I'm not sure how long this is. I can check really. Okay. It's a little bit longer, so I'll send it, but basically it goes over how to create a navigation bar step by step.
In this video, we will be walking through how to create
and I think it will be very useful for everybody. So I'll send that in the Discord chat right after class, as well as the slides. This way you'll have access to the starter code and you can look over all the information we went over before. So now we're going to take a few minutes to do our weekly stand-up, respond to one or more of the prompts. What did you accomplish this meeting? Give an example of how you were brave, resilient, creative, or purposeful. Do you let us know if you need help with anything next meeting or before next meeting? To give a shout out to another member for something they accomplished, for helping others, or for demonstrating a trait from the Girls Who Code Learners profile. As a reminder, the profile is bravery, resilience, creativity, and purpose. Yes, Genesis, start us off.
Can I say something that I felt brave about, like what I did?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that I did good when I stood up to like read for the activity that we did today, like for the exquisite corpse. And I also felt proud of that. I got to get like a pin so that I could do it.
We're proud of you too. Thank you. You did awesome with the reading.
And Miriam fixed her account on glitch, said T. It's good. It means you start working. Please confirm the room number 1, Layla, Miriam, and T. How was your experience? Tell us something as a stand-up. Layla couldn't fix hers. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can stay and we will do that. For some reason, invite didn't work. Okay. Again, we will troubleshoot after the class. It's totally fine. We will stay over and do some work. I believe Cindy can help a little bit. Cindy, please confirm.
Yes, I can.
Good. But I want to hear from others. Yes, Genesis. You want to say something?
I don't need to stay. I don't need to stay again. Yeah, I don't really need to stay.
Okay. Don't really need to stay. It's okay. So those will stay who need to troubleshoot. But right now, I do want to hear from someone who wants to brag. If you learned something new, if you did something new, if you can be proud by yourself, or someone who you want to share, talk high about. Any feeling of accomplishment will be highly appreciated. If you feel accomplished, if you feel driven.
I feel accomplished that I was like understanding what we were like learning today.
Who is that speaking?
Me, Layla.
Sorry, Layla, you're a little quiet, so that's why. But I understood what you were saying, that you feel accomplished.
Yes,
start to understand these concepts.
these concepts are really important.
That's the best part about computer science. It's the most amazing feeling when you get something that isn't maybe intuitive at first.
I highly encourage you. Keep practicing, keep writing down. You have to do the automatic skills. Just keep playing with this, no risk. If you will ruin it, you will start from the scratch. You will start over, right? Keep practicing. Give it a try.
Mia, would you like to share or answer to any of these prompts? Let us know about something you felt good about from today's meeting or confused about. There's Mia with an M, as in Mary.
It's such a quiet group. I cannot believe you didn't like something today. Tell us.
Say something again.
I didn't really understand what we were doing today.
It's brave enough to say it straightforward. Good.
That's useful feedback. That really is. And I hope that the video that I send you might be a little bit more clear. And if it's not, we always have Discord to communicate with each other.
Who else didn't get what we've been doing today? Raise your hand. It's totally fine. We need your feedback. Genesis, you didn't understand or what's about it?
I didn't understand that much, but I did understand like part of it.
That's good. I would like to
More often
learn.
than not, we don't understand things at first.
Yeah. So also Anaya was saying she learned about navigation bar. Right.
Awesome.
So what we're trying to do, we're trying to connect
Thank you all.
pages. But first you have to design pages. I mean, create pages as their bones for pages. Not beautiful, it's okay, but just creating the something as a page and then linking them to each other. That's it. That's it. That's why we're learning how to do this. That's why so many tags are needed. Actually, you don't need many tags. You need only one tag, which is a tag. As soon as you put a tag into the page, it will link to something. But then if you will go to something, you will feel lost. You don't have the way back, right? That's why we are thinking about navigation bar, which is always there and guides us like GPS. I'm here and I want to go there. Okay, I'm there. I want to go here. So the idea is simple. Tags are not. But that's why we're practicing those, right?
Definitely. These are very real computer science concepts. So it is nothing to feel bad about if it doesn't make sense right away. Computer science almost never does make sense right away, but usually when you sit on things, eventually they do make sense, but you have to practice. That is definitely the key. It makes learning so much faster. So I just quickly want to go over what's expected before next meeting, or what you should strive to accomplish before next meeting. If you haven't already been in communication with your group members via Discord, I strongly recommend that you all start communicating with one another and coordinating to hopefully complete the navigation bar and what we were working on earlier today. And if you do manage to accomplish the navigation bar, then you can even start adding text with the header tag and the paragraph tags to add some text content onto your web pages. Nothing pretty, just exactly what you want it to say, which of course depends on what your project is about. And be sure to use the starter code that I provided as a basis for your HTML code. I think it will help a lot in just getting used to things. Now you have access to all of us via Discord until then to ask questions. But the most important thing I would say right now is to coordinate with your group and make sure that you're at least on a shared glitch page. So if you had trouble setting up a glitch account, getting that sorted out and having your group mates add you to the project and just making sure you're all on the same page there, because we're going to be building upon what we learned today next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you, Layla. Layla, do you want to stay over? I mean, staying to troubleshoot your account, right?
No, I think I got it actually.
That's good. Make sure you connect Layla, T, Miriam. You connect on Discord. You are such a small group already. You can make friends and you can ask each other. Someone lost, you got a hand, right? How was your experience? I believe all 3 rooms got some good experience and some accomplishment. You didn't brag today, but the fact you were able to make these connections and get your account with glitch is really progress. Keep working with each other. Share whatever fun you found. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Taylor. It was quite intense. Full load HTML, but we will keep practicing. It's totally fine. Failing here, failing there, keep practicing. Okay.
I have to go. Bye.
Yes, you can.
I have
Thank
to.
you. Nice week.
See you.